Donnie and Dolly. The team is supported by ableauctions.ca. Closing your business? We can help.
Friday, Thomas Drance standing by. Today's guest brought to you by Langley Chrysler. Don't miss the game because your car needs servicing. Langley Chrysler will pick up service and drop off your car so you don't have to miss the action. Valet service only at langleychrysler.com. Just before we get to Thomas, Ryan, some people have texted into the Delaney's OK Tire and Langley inbox reminding us or telling us what the situation was with the Canucks wearing those black jerseys way back when.
Yeah, unsigned, unfortunately. But apparently, first of all, it was a Sunday afternoon game.
March 1st, 92.
Mm-hmm. And also, it was the 75th anniversary season in the NHL, so they'd flipped the home and away situation.
Yeah.
So, you know what I wish the NHL would go to? I wish the NHL would go to the AHL, WHL system.
Halfway through?
Halfway through. At least do that. At least give some variety that way. I like that.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, it's just so rigid. It just seems so like it has to be this way.
I liked it when the visiting team wore the dark jerseys.
Yeah, and
coming in because there was more variety.
Yeah, well,
but like anything else, everything comes down to money. Home teams sell more of the dark jerseys than they do of the white jerseys.
But again, last night,
so they want to put those on display each and every night.
Couldn't the Flames have worn the red jerseys?
Yeah,
you know
like
what I mean.
The NBA.
You know what I mean?
Does it have to be dark and
right.
white? Yeah. No, good point. I'm sure Thomas Drance is enthralled with this conversation as we bring in Thomas from The Athletic in the wake of a 7-1 Canuck victory over the Flames. How are you, sir?
Oh, I love jersey color talk, gentlemen.
Oh.
Do you know how hard it is? Do you know how hard it is to wear white on your home ice? It's like really hard. Like your GM has to sign a bunch of letters, and then every team that visits you, their GM has to sign a bunch of approvals on it. Like it's when teams wear white for anniversary seasons, there's a lot of paperwork. It's a mess. Yeah, it takes a lot of effort.
I think it should be like minor hockey where the two coaches run into each other. Hey, what uniform
what are you wearing tonight?
White's
Yeah.
okay, good. We'll go darks. Yeah, that's the way it works. Why can't it be like that?
Well,
all right.
Why can't they just be reversible? Like remember like soccer in elementary school? You know, you got the yellow on the outside, the red on the inside. You know, like when you're playing for the Carisdale Rockets or something. It's like whatever.
You're onto something.
Carisdale Rockets.
But the only problem with that is you couldn't sell two of them, right?
Right.
Like I said, everything comes down to money.
Well,
so,
gentlemen, sorry, I don't mean to squirrel this entire
go for
thing, but here's my dream scenario for both the Canucks, but also for NHL teams in general. I know this is a little bit capitalist, like maybe a little bit too much of a money grab, but I love in soccer and in basketball how teams have a bunch of different fun jerseys for their fans every year.
Right.
I think teams should basically wear a different sweater every season. And if you're the Canucks, you have such a rich template of different looks and variations to draw from. I think it'd be cool if every single season you rolled out a new look. I think that would be great for everybody. Like, I don't see the downside to doing that. I think it'd be a lot of fun.
Yeah, and I think it would sell as well, which, again, that's what everything comes down to in business, and the NHL is a business. So 7-1, did you see that coming at all? Where did it come from?
I did not see that coming at all. I really thought that the Canucks were going to be in tough against the Calgary Flames. And in the early stages of the game kind of looked the way I'd expected. And I felt like maybe sort of an undertold story is, to me, the Pettersson line with Podkolzin and Höglander on his wings wrested the momentum of that game away from Calgary sort of late in the first. Obviously, we know Pettersson gets the club on the board early. Demko with the windmill save without his stick. What a player. Unbelievable. I loved him holding court with the media post-game as well. Demko's pretty thoughtful, restrained, careful. Mm-hmm. I think he's a guy who gets really amped up after games, and I think he's also very deliberate about how he presents himself. And as a result, oftentimes his post-game availabilities come across a little flat. And yesterday, his post-game comments to the media were loquacious. He was holding court, chewing scenery. It felt like in that moment and in that setting, like this team's star player had arrived and sort of taken on those reins. It was a very interesting experience to observe in a media capacity, and such a departure from what I think we expect from Demko. And then, the Canucks power play runs hot. They get some goals. Markstrom's skate breaks, and the Canucks have sort of field day with that. And credit to them, right? You have to, when you have a goalie change, when you have an opportunity to just put a team to bed that way, you have to be ruthless enough to do it. The Canucks applied a pure sleeper hold, another power play goal, penalty shot goal by JT Miller, a variation on his usual move. Look, credit to them. But I do have this sort of theory in hockey, an appropriation of the old baseball theory. But, I sort of think there's about 16 games a year that you're going to lose no matter what you do. We all know those games, where the team outshoots their opponent 40-20, but they get 2 against the grain goals the other way, and you just lose them no matter how well you play. And I think there's about 16 games that you win no matter how poorly you play. And not that the Canucks played poorly last night, but so many things went their way, and so many weird things went their way that I don't know that there's a ton that you draw from that game and say, like, that's who this team should be or can be, maybe aside from the fact that putting Besser on the flank of the power play and JT Miller at the net front. Let's see more of that, please.
Thomas, that was a 5-minute answer. Give us some time to ask some questions. Just kidding. Okay, does a game like that last night, though, Thomas, make you think twice about the deadline, or does it not? Like, okay, JT Miller, 4 points. How do you trade this guy? Like, that's going to be the feeling. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, I don't think anyone will be surprised to hear that it wouldn't change my mind. I don't think you can base long-term plans for $1 billion organization on one game, or frankly, a run of games in which you've had success. Like, you need to look at how your club is trending overall and position yourself to be far better than the Canucks have been this season in years to come. Are you buying that this team, and look, you didn't want me to answer for 5 minutes. So instead of that, let me throw a question back to you.
Yeah.
Do you guys fundamentally believe, right, that the Canucks have changed stripes, are a different team under Bruce Boudreau now?
Yes.
Okay. Fair enough. Why? Like, what do you see other than the wins?
The record tells you they're better. They're they're winning a lot more than they were under the previous coach at the start of the year.
I haven't got the deep stats in front of me, Thomas, but I know what I see, what I feel. There just seems to be a better energy amongst the team. And I love, for instance, at the end of the game last night, I don't know if you heard our first segment, but Bruce put out the fourth line for the power play. Things like that, a rhythm on the bench and energy on the ice that maybe wasn't there before.
I loved the way he handled the end game. Personally, I thought it was classy, but it was also trickier than it looked, because that Flames team has the sort of heavyweights that the Canucks really can't answer based on who they've got. So it's a pretty fine line that he had to walk. I thought he walked it wonderfully. I agree with you about the vibes, but when I look at what this team has done in Boudreau's, is it 27 games now, 28 games? Mm-hmm. They're better 5-on-5, but they're still a middling 5-on-5 team. Special teams still hurt them. The penalty kill is still not good. The power play broke out last night, but has been trending in the wrong direction for weeks prior to the win last night. I just don't see a team that's fundamentally altered their profile. And let me give you an example, gentlemen. When the Flames changed from Jeff Ward to Daryl Sutter, they didn't win games. The results didn't come for them following that change in midseason, right? But the way that they played, their underlying profile, who they were, underwent a tremendous evolution. They became a completely different team. All of a sudden, they were controlling play 5-on-5 at an elite rate. And now this season, they've come in and they've sustained that and become this team that's one of the league's best, right? Like a legitimate threat to come out of the West and play in the Stanley Cup final. Even though the results weren't there in midseason, they changed who they were. When I look at this Canucks team, it's kind of the opposite. The results have been there. The vibes are tremendous, but who they are is the same. And who they are, for me anyway, isn't good enough. Like, it's not a team that's going to be able to give, maybe if they bump into the Flames in the first round, but if they bump into Colorado, if they bump into Vegas, I just don't think it's going to be a long series. And so, the idea of pursuing this playoff berth, and full credit to the players, full credit to Bruce Boudreau, for what they've accomplished here over the past few months and winning 4 or 5 to sort of resuscitate their chances yet again.
Yeah.
I don't even see why the end goal of pursuing a playoff berth is even worth it. Like, I don't even see why it's worth it, because I just think you get stomped. And
The X factor is Demko, is it not, though, Thomas? The X factor is Demko?
Of course. The goalie is your X factor, but
always.
I mean, again, you gotta try and build a team that can win in spite of goaltending.
If the goal
not solely for that reason.
Thomas, if the goal is not to make the playoffs, is the goal to lose? The owner doesn't want to lose. The fans don't want to lose. I mean, I'm trying to figure out.
No, the fans want to actually win, though.
Yeah.
Like, the fans want to actually
That's
root
right.
for a great team.
Yeah.
And this organization for years has like been stuck in one of those finger traps. And instead of, the NHL rewards you for being bad, right? There are rewards for being bad in the NHL. You get rewards for selling at the deadline. You get future rewards in terms of higher draft picks. Like, the NHL rewards you for being bad. And so if you're bad, all you have to do is relax, and then you're free.
Yeah.
And for whatever reason, this organization has spent a decade just like furiously pulling.
Mm-hmm.
And
good visual.
And now where are now where are they? Like, they're completely reliant on this star level goaltender, and full credit to him. But you don't want to be the team that's like a dangerous team because you've got the goalie. You want to be the team that people look at and say, "Wow, they're really good."
So what are you suggesting, Thomas? What are you suggesting they do then?
Yeah.
Like,
well,
I'm not. Yeah, go ahead.
The same things I've been suggesting on this program for weeks. My mind's just not changed because they won 4 out of 5 and stomped the Flames 7-1.
Okay.
I think we have a 53 game sample of what this team is. I think we know that they're not good enough. And I think if you're an organization that's basing decisions on which way the wind is blowing or what way the results are running in the short term, you're bound to fail, and you're bound to fail forever. And I want to see this club get out of this cycle of mediocrity. I think you have to have your eyes focused on the big picture. And the big picture for me, for this team, is that you're going to need avenues to improve. You're going to need to strengthen your prospect system. You're going to need the sort of asset capital. Like, let me throw this one at you, gentlemen. What if things had worked for the Canucks this season and they were trying to buy at the deadline?
Yeah.
They wouldn't have the assets. Like, think about all the prospects and the players from other organizations that this market gets excited about whenever that team is linked to JT Miller. Like, the Canucks don't even have that. Even if they were good and they were trying to improve their team for a playoff run, they wouldn't have the assets to compete with LA or Toronto or Florida. Like, how are those teams better than you and have more weapons to play with on the trade market, right? Okay. I mean, this club needs a lot of help, boys. Okay,
so Thomas, and I know we're over time here, and by the way, you can't keep asking us to answer questions. We're paying you, okay? But another thing, but Pettersson is on a roll right now. JT Miller is on a roll right now. Bo Horvat got his game back last night. Are you suggesting maybe sell high at this point?
Well, not on Pettersson. That's Donnie. That's your hobby horse.
No, okay. No, I change like the wind. I don't know what I'm going to say today.
Wow, that is true.
I mean, I do think you sell high. For sure. I think, look, I mean, my view of what needs to happen for this franchise is pretty simple. And we're profiling Canucks prospects this week at theathletic.com. Encourage your audience to check it out. We've got a top 10 list coming up, and I've got some news for you, Rick. Looks like the Canucks will try and get Linus Karlsson signed in the next couple months. So a little mini scooplet for my friend Rick Dollywall.
I talked to his agent yesterday, Thomas. I was going to call. That's a done deal. He's coming here. He's coming.
Thomas beat you to the punch there.
Hey, Thomas said it. I talked to the agent, and if you didn't go on for 20 minutes extra, I was going to drop that tidbit, Thomas. But I got a couple of tidbits coming, Thomas. You and I need to connect on the phone after your radio hit there.
Sounds good. We'll connect after Canucks Hour. But anyway, when you look through what the Canucks have, there's just not a ton that you can count on coming in the years ahead. Yeah. There's not a ton of cap space. And the team is going to need to win 3 of the next 4 on this road trip, right? They're going to need to win 3 of the 4 games on this road trip, not to put themselves in a playoff spot, boys, or to solidify their grasp on one, but to keep their chances alive. The margins are so thin. You cannot overreact to a run of wins right now because of the significant challenges and the structural flaws facing this organization. It's a real test, I think, for a club that has changed management, but still has a habit of getting impatient, of pulling in that finger trap. Can they relax? Can they finally let the system work for them a little bit to restock the cupboards and build something really special here? That's the big question of the next month. I'm very curious to watch it all unfold.
It's a little bit like E.T. doing that, by the way, Thomas. Hey, appreciate it. We're over time.
Over time,
You
Thomas.
wouldn't believe the response you're getting in our inbox.
Hey, your agent better not bill us extra today.
Thanks, Thomas.
He won't.
And I know-
You'll talk to him. You'll talk to him anyway, Rick.
I know your agent. I know your agent because it's his agent and my agent. Anyways.
Hey, there
Thanks
you go.
for-
We're well represented.
Yeah. Thanks for the tidbit, the scoop there, by the way, Thomas. Appreciate it. I know Rick does as well.
Jeez. Stop.
Thomas Drance, The Athletic. Next week.